Coming up next, the end of Title 42 and what it means for migrants seeking asylum in the U.S.
Food prices are up, but a new government study shows some prices are spiking higher than others. We'll take a look at the list.
Plus, the biggest drop in gas prices in nearly 2 years. Is relief in sight?
Everything is more expensive, but where can you get free tax help? I have answers.
A local church is stepping up to help Ukrainian refugees in need.
Beautifying a housing complex in honor of the civil rights leader Cesar Chavez.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts now. The federal government could soon end Title 42, a Trump-era COVID policy allowing the U.S. to turn asylum seekers away at the border. Good evening. I'm Jesse Pagan, in for Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. It means migrants can no longer be turned away at the border before making their case. As News 8's David Goffredson reports, the end of Title 42 is expected to lead to a surge of migrants at the border.
A decision by the Centers for Disease Control could come by the end of the week, announcing the end of Title 42 expulsions at the border. Title 42 allowed authorities at the U.S.-Mexican border to rapidly turn away migrants and asylum seekers, citing the public health risk of spreading COVID. The policy, which is now expected to end in late May, has impacted more than 1.7 million people over the last 2 years. The White House is planning for multiple scenarios, including a potential surge of migrants at the border.
When the CDC ultimately decides it's appropriate to lift Title 42, there will be an influx of people to the border. And so we are doing a lot of work to plan for that contingency.
Originally implemented in 2020 by the Trump administration, local immigration advocates say Title 42 has allowed for arbitrary expulsions at the border.
With rescinding Title 42, Border Patrol agents will no longer have the authority to expel migrants and violating their due process rights.
Pedro Rios with the American Friends Service Committee in San Diego is now calling for an end to the so-called Remain in Mexico policy, which forces migrants to wait in Mexico once asylum claims have been submitted. For now, that will not change with the elimination of Title 42.
It could possibly be that many of these individuals will be returned to Mexico as they await their asylum claims to begin processing through the asylum courts.
Rios says having to wait for months or years in Mexico puts asylum seekers in danger.
The agreement between the U.S. and Mexico has shortened the amount of time that they're supposed to wait, but that still continues to place them at risk if they're waiting in Mexican border towns.
Now, the Biden administration also wants to speed up the asylum process. Currently, it takes about 5 years for a case to be resolved. The president would like to reduce that down to 6 months. Carlo?
Okay, David, so Title 42 could end in May. What's the status of the Remain in Mexico policy that's separate and different?
Yeah, the Biden administration wants to get rid of that policy also, but that debate is heading to the Supreme Court. Oral arguments set for late April, and a decision on the Remain in Mexico policy is expected from the Supreme Court over the summer.
Big developments at our border. David Goffredson reporting for us. Thanks, David.
Tens of thousands of California renters facing eviction will be able to stay in their homes for at least the next 3 months. A brand new law will extend eviction protections for people who've already applied and are now waiting for money. It won't give renters more time to apply for state assistance. Tonight is the deadline for that. State lawmakers passed the measure earlier today, and Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis signed the bill into law. Governor Gavin Newsom is on vacation, hence the lieutenant governor signing it. So this makes the first time in California's history a woman has signed a bill into state law. The average price of a gallon of regular unleaded gas dropped nearly 2 cents in the county overnight, and that's the biggest fall since April of 2020.
The average tonight is $5.99. Yesterday, the 35-day streak of increases ended with a 1 penny drop. Just to give you some perspective, we're still paying $2 more than at this time last year. There's some hope, though, that lower prices may be ahead. President Joe Biden ordered the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. As Naomi Rockham reports, it's the biggest release of oil reserves in history.
President Biden says he will put 1 million additional barrels of oil on the market every day for the next 6 months, all of it coming from the nation's strategic petroleum reserve.
This is a wartime bridge to increase oil supply until production ramps up later this year.
The president wants to get U.S. oil and gas companies producing more. And to turn up the pressure, he's also calling on Congress to impose fees on those companies for wells on public lands that aren't getting used.
No American company should take advantage of a pandemic or Vladimir Putin's actions to enrich themselves at the expense of American families.
Drivers have also been paying more for gas, with global supply impacted by steep sanctions on Russia for its war in Ukraine. The pandemic and efforts to move toward greener energy have meant less oil on the market. Kyle Bowles owns an ice cream truck business in Richmond, Virginia, and his trucks run off both unleaded and diesel gas.
In a word, it's brutal, truthfully. You know, a year ago, the prices were $2 less on each one.
This new oil reserve release will begin in May, increasing domestic supply. But experts say it will also bring oil reserve levels to lows not seen in decades. Patrick DeHaan is the chief petroleum analyst for GasBuddy, the app that helps drivers find the cheapest gas.
Are we going to put ourselves more at risk? This could push up prices long term because the nation has no relief valve for if there are future problems.
The Biden administration says it will replenish the strategic petroleum reserve when prices come down, but other recent releases haven't done much to move the needle on prices. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
It is tax season, and we are inching closer to that filing deadline many people look forward to for the check, and that some others dread.
If you still have not filed your taxes, you might be looking for a way to get them done for free. Our Kirsten Holmes found a way to make that happen if you happen to qualify. She joins us live with more. Kirsten?
Hey guys, I'm here at the Copley Price YMCA because they are going to have a free tax prep day here this Saturday if you're interested. Now, the tax deadline is Monday, April 18th. There are a few East Coast holidays that they're going to give us a little bit of a break for. But you just heard the price of gas was going up. Everything is more expensive. So like me, you're probably looking for a place to get your taxes done for free. And you can do that here if you meet their income requirements.
Physically at volunteer income tax assistance or VITA sites that are up and running throughout San Diego County through the deadline, for the most part, April 18th. The other way is IRS free file at irs.gov.
That's Rafael Tolino. He's a spokesperson with the IRS. He says the free VITA sites have an income max of $58,000 for the 2021 tax year, and irs.gov has free online filing programs for filers making up to $73,000.
Above and beyond the lower to moderate income levels for both VITA and the free file program, you may be able to find other avenues of free, if you will, out there, depending on where you go.
To file free online, Tolino says go to irs.gov and click File and follow the prompts. There you might see some familiar tax filing companies.
And that is a partnership with IRS and several software companies to provide their software for your use for free to file an income tax return.
Whether you do it at a VITA site or online at irs.gov, Rafael says you can trust their volunteers and their software to do the hard work for you.
On your behalf, choosing direct deposit, doing an e-filed return for you, alerting you to all the different credits that are available for lower or moderate income taxpayers. Along the same line, it's the same thing for free file. However, the income stipulation is $73,000 or less.
But that's not all. Dr. Alexis Avina with the United Way says they're also giving free tax help on Saturday, April 2nd, because Dr. Avina says this year there are a lot of credits and a lot of need.
Many of them are not aware that they even qualify for this service.
If you're still looking for a place to get tax help for free, Dr. Avina says just call 211.
And all they need to do is share that they're interested in the free tax preparation services, ask for an appointment. And the second way is to go to myfreetaxes.org.
Okay, so ZipRecruiter says the average salary in San Diego is $68,000 a year. So hopefully, if you don't qualify for one program, you might qualify to file for free on the IRS's website because you make less than $73,000 a year. Back to you.
Kirsten, I know you've been trying to find ways all day long. Are there any free tax programs for people making more than $73,000 a year?
Yeah, Raphael with the IRS says you might be able to find something out there, but most of the free and reduced tax preparers are going to stick with moderate to low income filers.
All right, good to know as that deadline approaches. Kirsten Holmes reporting live for us tonight. Kirsten, thank you.
Thousands of pounds of drugs confiscated at sea will never make it to our streets. Chop rate was there over the 10th Avenue Marine Terminal this morning as more than 11,000 pounds of cocaine and 4,000 pounds of marijuana were offloaded from the Coast Guard cutter Kimball. We're told it all came from multiple drug busts in the Eastern Pacific.
Still ahead, why you may want to hold on to any expired canned food in your pantry.
Plus the local church that's offering sanctuary to Ukrainian refugees.
Cloud cover was stubborn to break today. We had mostly cloudy skies, even squeezed out a little bit of drizzle. What about tomorrow's forecast? Details ahead.
But first, more tourists suit up and head to space.
Plumbing, heating and air, restoration and flood.
I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, and steadily things were getting worse. The Good Feet Arch Support System opened that door to a better quality of life.
Find what you've been missing at the Good Feet store.
If only there was a company that could locate buried pipes and find water leaks, but without all the holes.
We're that company, Cable Pipe and Leak Detection. We'll locate your utilities and find your water leaks the first time. CPL, the company that contractors trust.
A 401k retirement plan is a great way to keep your employees happy. And Paychex can find the perfect one for your business. As the #1 retirement plan provider in the country, Paychex can handle the entire 401k process for you, minimizing all those administrative tasks by fully integrating your payroll with our platform. We'll set up a plan that gives you the biggest tax benefits, saving you time and more of every hard-earned dollar. With 50 years of experience, Paychex makes 401ks simple.
I was injured in a car crash. I had no idea how much my case was worth.
Call the Barnes firm to find out what your case could be worth. We will help you get the best result possible.
Now at America's Finest Carpet, the California Collection Plus. The most durable waterproof floor you'll ever buy. The luxury look of hardwood without the hassle and maintenance. Pet-proof, kid-proof, waterproof. With a 50-year manufacturer warranty, this floor will last a lifetime. And America's Finest Carpet has over 1 million square feet in stock and ready to install today. America's Finest Carpet, San Diego's largest carpet, wood, and waterproof flooring store.
1-888-402-AFCC. I wasn't able to do something that I love because of my foot pain. I wasn't able to go on hikes. I got these arch supports years ago, and they are still really helping and still making such a difference.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting.
Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin completed its 4th space tourism mission this morning. There were 6 passengers. 5 of them were paying customers. The capsule took off in West Texas and only stayed on the outer edge of space for a few minutes. You might remember Saturday Night Live comedian Pete Davidson was supposed to be on that rocket, but the launch was delayed, so he had to drop out.
NATO and U.S. defense officials are now warning Russian forces seem to be regrouping. Shelling is still happening near major Ukrainian cities. The Biden administration slapped new sanctions on dozens of Russian tech companies and networks they could use to skirt away from the penalties. Meantime, a bus convoy delivered humanitarian supplies to Mariupol and helped evacuate civilians.
A local church is taking in Ukrainian refugee families who need help after escaping their country.
CBS 8's Ariana Cohen talked with the Calvary San Diego Church's assistant pastor and local volunteers in Chula Vista.
So many Ukrainian families need help and guidance. The assistant pastor here tells me they've helped about 200 to 400 families per day.
Yeah, it's hard to see my people are suffering.
Many Ukrainian refugee families who have fled their own country have found a safe haven at Calvary San Diego Church in Chula Vista. The church is taking families and children in, providing activities, snacks, and a place to rest until they get to their next stop.
So once they get to the San Ysidro port of entry or the Otay port of entry, we have a system in place to greet them and meet them and then pick them up and drive them here to our church, get them what they need to make it to their final destination.
Community members have stepped in to help. Stella Temple is a volunteer originally from Eastern Europe.
It's just the people that are close to my heart. I'm from Moldova, but I was living in the border with Ukraine, so I have a lot of relatives and friends from Ukraine. It's the best thing to help them because sometimes they need just a hug. That's all it takes to comfort them.
We have a few churches that are in Ukraine that have been heavily affected by this, and so when we realized this was in our backyard, we thought, what a perfect opportunity. We've been really praying for Ukraine and this whole thing, and then it just happened in our backyard, and so it was like, gosh, Lord, we've been praying about helping, and you've supplied us as the help now.
Other volunteers like Meredith Cho are helping host Ukrainian families needing a temporary place to stay. She has already had multiple families stay at her own home the past couple of days.
It's humbling, you know, as a parent myself, thinking about what the reality is for so many of these people. It's just heartbreaking and humbling, and it feels like a privilege to actually be able to do something to help individual families.
The Ukrainian families are grateful.
It feels great, you know, to know that they're in a safe place.
They need more drivers, volunteers, specific food, and monetary donations. We have more details and a link to how you can help up on our website. I'm Ariana Cohen for CBS 8.
Carlene, Mother Nature switched it up on us today.
I know, and was stubborn about it.
Yeah, Ella was in the air. It was thick, it was cool, it was wet.
I wanted more sunshine by the afternoon.
Right? I would have taken that.
Yeah, me too. I also said it was going to happen, but didn't. I will call myself out when that happens. Yeah, we didn't have much of that sunshine by the afternoon. We just had a little bit of a break here and there, but for the most part, it's still going strong when it came to that marine layer throughout the day. Stubborn clouds, but they will move out by tomorrow afternoon, so revealing more sunshine by the afternoon hours before yet again that marine layer rolls in for our Friday night. Current temperatures right now, we are on the cool side, cool and cloudy for tonight. So you have 50s and 60s west of the mountains. We're mainly in the 50s, but 60 degrees right now for Chula Vista and for El Cajon. You have the 40s and 50s across the mountains. And where we did have the sunshine, that's where we had the warmer temperature, 79 degrees currently for Borrego Springs. We have wind speeds that are fairly light. We're at 14 miles per hour for Julian, the same for Boulevard. Gusts that are picking up fairly light as well. So you're at 10 miles per hour right now for Escondido, a gust in Chula Vista of 10 miles per hour, 11 miles per hour for Campo, and 10 for Alpine. We have a weak disturbance. Yesterday around this time, it was producing scattered showers and snow across northern Nevada. Now we're starting to see it get closer towards the Four Corners. As a result, we're still seeing moisture within those regions. But for us, we just saw the cloud cover for today. We did squeeze out a little bit of drizzle, really light stuff earlier this morning, and then everything was just meh throughout the rest of the day. At least that's what Carla likes to call it. So we have this area of high pressure that is sitting just towards the west of us. That's going to move in our forecast for tomorrow. That's why I'm hopeful for a lot more sunshine by the afternoon hours compared to today, where we had that stubborn marine layer because of that continued onshore flow. And I mean modest totals earlier this morning. 1/100th of an inch. That's what we had for Carlsbad, for Encinitas. Also talking about for San Marcos. This was earlier this morning. Everything dried out. Well, because it wasn't much, but then as we got into the afternoon hours, we just hold on to the cloud cover. So the cloud cover will continue to go strong all the way through tomorrow morning. Still looking at a chance for some patchy drizzle and even some really light measurable rainfall, talking about 1/100th of an inch or a few hundredths of an inch being possible as we hit tomorrow morning's forecast. Still with the 60s for daytime highs, more sunshine across the desert as well as the mountains, even a few high clouds across the mountains, and 71 degrees looks to be the high for the mountains by tomorrow. Your 8-day microclimate forecast has the 60s taking us into the weekend. Enjoy the 60s. If you like cooler temperatures, hold on to the next couple of days. Get out there, enjoy it, because next week is hot. We're talking about a return to the 80s. That's going to be the case for the coast Thursday and Friday, unless you like it hot. And then you got those 90s as well. That's going to be the case for the inland valleys by Thursday and Friday of next week. Also talking about a widespread warm up. This puts us about 10 to 20 degrees above seasonal, getting pretty close to that century mark next week in the desert. More details on next week, the next half hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather quiz question for tonight. Carlo, I know you're going to laugh at me. I am still on my snow kick.
I love it.
But it's the last day of this because tomorrow is April 1st.
All right.
So the first snowmobile in the world was patented in which country? Is that A, United States, B, Denmark, C, the Czech Republic, or D, Canada? If you think you know the answer, just head to our website, cbs8.com/weather quiz to make your guess. You could win a family 4-pack of tickets to Sesame Place. That's year-round Sesame Street themed rides, shows, and attractions. This prize is sponsored by Corky's Pest Control. Also be mindful, you have until 11:59 p.m. tonight to enter to win this prize because next month is tomorrow, April 1st. So you get your new weather quiz question every Monday through Friday during this newscast in our 7 a.m. We'll have a new prize by tomorrow.
There was no ridiculously outrageous option on there, so I'm completely lost here.
Well.